Hello guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan and today I'm going to be sharing my first impressions of the new Leafs head coach Sheldon Keefe and his first NHL coaching win over the Arizona Coyotes. Now, Sheldon Keefe wasted zero time getting his first win as Leafs head coach with a huge victory 3-1 over the Arizona Coyotes. But what should we take away from this game with Keefe specifically? How did the Leafs play? And what are my first impressions of him as the new Leafs head coach? For all my opinions and impression, boys, watch till the end to find out. Now, if you've been on this channel for a while and you've been paying attention to my Babcock coverage, you would know that in the last few months, I haven't been the biggest fan of Babcock. I wanted at least to go to a new direction in head coach, and I wanted to see a change happen. Just a week ago, I made a video saying why the Leafs should fire Mike Babcock. I was on that train, and I was fully on it. And I really didn't think the Leafs would actually do it, but they ended up doing it. Sheldon Keefe was named the head coach, and life was pretty much perfect. And in that first game versus Arizona, I was right. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, the Toronto Maple Leafs ended up winning 3-1 in the Coyotes game. Their first game in their last 6 games, on a 6-game losing streak, they were able to snap it, and Sheldon Keefe in his first NHL game as a coach got the win. And this was a huge win in so many different ways. It wasn't just the win, it was how the Leafs played. I think throughout the first, the second, and the third, the Leafs looked like a way more complete team than any game Mike Babcock has coached this season. But while the whole game was pretty great for Toronto, the first period didn't exactly start that way. Toronto, yes, ended up getting the first goal in the game, but the Coyotes probably should have scored before that because they were creaming the Toronto defense. The shots at some point were like 12-6 Arizona in the first period. It was not all that great. But with a couple of minutes to go in the first period, just right before first intermission basically, the Leafs kind of just flipped a switch and they were fantastic. We saw that in the Tyson Barrie goal where he just deked the whole Coyotes defense, came in on Kemper and just sniped and sellied. And it was beautiful. That was vintage Tyson Barrie. And while the rest of the first period wasn't all that great, that is a good sign of good things to come. And the Leafs somehow, getting almost creamed for most of that first period, went into the second period and just dominated. While I think their third period was good too, the second period was their best period, and it really did show. Of course, this was the period where Pierre Engvall got his first NHL goal, shorthanded, the absolute beast that he is. Just an amazing play overall to put the Leafs up 2-0. But just overall in that second period, there was some penalties for the Coyotes. The Leafs didn't even get a power play in this game, but the penalty kill was very sharp. The first one definitely scared me in this game for Arizona. They were looking fantastic, but Anderson was able to make some key saves and rob Coyotes a couple of times in this one. And we saw that in the second period how good the Toronto Maple Leafs really were starting to become, because in that first period, it was shaky, it was inconsistent, but in that second period, despite those power plays for Arizona, despite having to go on the penalty kill, Toronto was just amazing at offense, defense, everything. Pretty much all of the team was working. And at this point, it was basically Darcy Kemper's show. He was robbing the Leafs a couple of times in that second, but unfortunately was not able to get that Pierre Engvall goal, and Engvall gets his first NHL goal. Again, absolutely beautiful. And then we head into the third period where it was still very good, I think, for Toronto. There were some excellent chances. They were able to capitalize on one of them. Austin Matthews gets his goal in Arizona. The hometown kid makes it 3-0, and then with just pretty much like seconds to go in the third period, Vinny Hinostroza made it 3-1 for the Coyotes. But overall, that third period was a successful one. The defense was strong, really, really good, and the offense just kept rolling from the second period onwards. They really did shut the Coyotes down, and despite that one goal by Vinny Hinostroza, where the defense just left him alone, overall the game was pretty fantastic, and the Arizona Coyotes pretty much had no answer. And the special teams especially in this game are huge because while they didn't get a power play, they were able to hold Arizona without a goal in 3 power play opportunities. And that is huge because with Toronto's penalty kill, it hasn't exactly been too successful this season, and surprisingly guys like Morgan Wylie, Cody Ceci were pretty good in this one. Another big thing to note is that I think Morgan Wylie had his best game of his season so far. Maybe not offensively because you didn't notice him too much in this game, but defensively, it was easily his best game. He was solid, he wasn't letting anything go by, and he was just good throughout the whole game. And that is a good sign also. With Tyson Berry getting that huge goal and just looking pretty good, you have Morgan Wylie really turning into a great two-way defenseman. And if that's how it happens under Sheldon Keefe, I think that would be a great success. Because with Morgan Wylie this season, yes, he is getting points, but he's been somewhat invisible. But in that game versus Arizona, he was noticeable and in all the right ways. And I was especially looking at the Leafs time on ice for the defensemen, and that's where it gets interesting, because Cody Ceci led the team in ice time with 22 minutes and 54 seconds. But watching the game, I didn't really notice him too much, but honestly, that is a pretty good sign. He had a couple of mistakes here because he's Cody freaking Ceci, that's just what he does, but he definitely was not as bad as some other games. And leading the team in time on ice, playing that good, I didn't expect it. But you also have guys like Morgan Wylie, who I think had excellent games. Same thing with Muzzin, same thing with Hall and Berry. Overall, the whole defense played well. And while Cody Ceci still wasn't good, he was at least good enough. And overall, with that defense playing as well as it did, we now go into Freddie Andersen and his very solid performance. Now, in the first period, he had to make some big saves, and obviously he kept Arizona off the score sheet for like pretty much 59 minutes of that game. But I think overall, from the first period onwards, he really didn't have to face that many high danger chances. There was a couple of big ones, yes, by Arizona that they probably should have scored on, but for the most part, Andersen was on his game, and that is very good news, because with the defense being a lot better compared to other games, you have Freddie Andersen, who seems to be a lot more on point, a lot more dialed in, and right now, a lot better too. And I know we're just one game into Sheldon Keefe's career at the Leafs, but I was very impressed. When it comes to first impressions, you know, I think Arizona played a decent game, but Toronto throughout most of that game was just on top of them. They were the better team, the quicker team, and the just more exciting team. They just had a lot more to offer, a lot more gas in the tank, and obviously with Sheldon Keefe, his first NHL game, it is early to say, but right now I was very impressed by how Toronto changed, because when I saw Sheldon Keefe come in, I thought it was the right decision, yes, but I didn't expect him to change this quickly and for the better, because they just flipped a switch and now they're apparently good again. And I think they had a great game under Sheldon Keefe. It'll take a little bit to really get a sample size of this team because they're an inconsistent team. We've seen that this season, but so far, so good for them. And especially if you take out those first 10 minutes of the game, the rest of the game, I think, was pretty much perfect hockey by Toronto. The offense was rolling, the defense was shutting Arizona down, and Freddie Andersen looked like his vintage self. Pretty much everything was working for Toronto, and in the end, they did get the W, 3-1 over the Arizona Coyotes, and now are back at 500. And this win, again, is so huge in so many ways. To get off that losing streak and now get to 500, they now have pretty much a clean slate. And with Sheldon keeping the new head coach, I think we will see some good things here. Again, I want to see Sheldon Keefe this whole time. I thought he would be the best coach right now for Toronto, and so far that's been the case. But with this video and my first impressions, I need to hear y'all's thoughts down those comments down below. So let me know all the way everything about Sheldon Keefe's game. What do you think about the Leafs and how they played? Are you impressed? Do you want to see more? And of course, just a question on to you. What were your first impressions with Sheldon Keefe so far? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, I would advise you watch this video where I discuss Mike Babcock getting fired and Sheldon Keefe becoming the next coach of Toronto. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy this first impressions video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on Sheldon Keefe so far and what you think of his one-game coaching career. Share this video with your friends also. If you haven't, get the grabbing of the 10K subscribers, boys. It is definitely possible. My name's Nathan, and I'll see y'all in the next video or stream. Goodbye.